You know, I'm going to start off with a smile with this next topic, how to give good advice, because the answer may surprise you. I am David Essel. There's so many times in life when we think about our partner, we think about our children, a best friend, in the work of life coaching and counseling and therapy. You know, we think about individuals coming to us for advice, and they're looking for help and to solve problems. And this segment's going to be fairly short because I just want to give you a very easy answer that 90% of times when someone asks us a question and asks us for our advice, they really don't want it. It's the truth. It's the truth. They might just be contemplating their life. They may just be out of respect saying, what would you do in this situation? But they really don't want to hear our answer. They want to know we're present. They want to know we care. They want to know we're empathetic. But even if they ask you 3 or 4 or 5 times in a row, there's a good chance, 90% of the time, the best advice is to not to give any advice. And for the number one reason is that people are oftentimes courteous, and they're oftentimes just thinking and brainstorming themselves, and they need to hear themselves talk, but they don't need your advice. Now, this is a topic that I go over in extreme detail in all of the life coach certification, addiction recovery certification, believe it or not, public speaking. We give thoughts and guidance, but really the key is for people to come to conclusions on their own. What is the best path for them? And sometimes we'll be working with parents and they'll say, you know, my kids are coming to me and asking me about this and that and this, and like I'm giving them advice, but then they're getting upset with me. Or my partner's coming to me and asking me like, what's the best thing to do? And I tell them, and then they get frustrated. And that's proof of what I'm saying. 90% of time, the best advice to give is to not give advice, but instead to ask questions. When we give advice, oftentimes we're saying what would be the best thing for us, but we're not that other person. We don't know what the best thing for them is. When people come to me and they say, well, I want to work on these life changes with relationships and love or God or money or whatever it might be, is that I always turn it back to them. Unless this, and this is the 10%. So 90% of times, the best advice to give is no advice whatsoever. And it's hard to break the habit, trust me. It's very, very hard. But the 10% of times when we should give advice is when someone is destined to make a huge error today. In other words, if someone came to you and they were going to divorce their husband and they divorced their wife, or if someone came to you and they were going to drop out of college or drop out of high school, or if someone came to you and they were making that decision today, and you know in your deepest heart of hearts that that may not be the best decision, or if someone's talking about, you know, I'm just going to go out and get totally hammered tonight because, do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's when we give advice. If someone is saying, I'm going to go back to my partner and their partner has been physically abusing them, give your advice, right? Right? Like, if someone says, I'm going to go over and I'm going to, you know, hit somebody in the face because they did A, B, C, D, or E, give your advice. But that's only 10% of the time in life. The most amazing teachers I've had in my life are those teachers who have asked me questions, which is why I focus my life's work on helping other people to learn how to ask questions. The very best advice to give in 90% of the time with your kids, your partners, your friends, your coworkers, is no advice whatsoever. The best advice to give, if you want to put it in this framework, is to ask questions to get the people to go deeper into their own thought process, to come up with their own plan, their own advice. Now, I'm very, as you can tell, emphatically passionate about this topic because I've seen way too many times in my life, before I started making this big shift in 1996 in my work, we did this major shift. But before that, I would constantly give people my opinion, because they would call me and say, what do you think? On radio, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And sometimes I'll say, well, if I was in your situation, this is what I would do. But when I'm in a counseling session and I know that I've got a lot of weeks to work with someone, there is no need to give advice. So take this home. You're going to have so many people at first, they may be blown away if you stop giving advice and ask questions. Some may be very happy with you. Some may be frustrated because you're breaking a certain pattern in the relationship that they're used to. But the coolest thing is, if you stay on course, quit giving advice, just ask questions, is some of your most tumultuous relationships with children, your partner, your parents, siblings and friends, co-workers, will start to calm down. If I can help you in any way whatsoever with this whole shift of how to live in a different mindset, contact me at talkdavid.com. Don't forget to sign up at Super Slow down here on YouTube, so every video we put out goes right to your account. And share this with friends who are struggling. If you have any kind of drama, chaotic type of relationships where you seem to be, they ask advice and you're giving it and then you're both arguing over the stuff, you know, if that's the type of life that you see in different areas of your existence, contact me, talkdavid.com, and I can definitely help you out, okay? Or even consider going to one of our certification courses to learn this firsthand. I'm David Essel. Have a great day.